Rigby was terrible in the early seasons, literally trading his friends and his own souls to death in exchange for a bowling ball. However, Season 1 Rigby isn't recognizable till late Season 5 through 8 Rigby. Rigby transformed from a prick to being one of the realest characters in a regular show right before our eyes. As children watching the show, many of us despised him. He always came across as an obnoxious, annoying, and self-centered character. The difference is that as we got older, we understood why. Rigby was always abused in some way, which led to him acting out. Like in the Time episode and the Death Punches episode. Think about it. Nothing in his life ever truly went his way. He had the worst childhood and the worst treatment from his friends. More specifically, his best friend Mordecai. When you consider his relationship with said best friend, he was never intentionally evil, unlike Mordecai, who took sadistic pleasure in patronizing or punching him. Whether you like it or not, being abused and mistreated causes people to understand and sympathize with you, even if you act like a jerk. It makes you realize that almost all of his actions were justified, in a sort of cause and effect sense. The two causes, the treatment from his family and the treatment from his friends. A lot of the hate toward Mordecai began after Rigby's character arc. In the beginning, it was clear that they were both terrible friends to each other, even though Mordecai was less horrible to Rigby. But after Rigby's character arc, people began to view Mordecai as unworthy of Rigby's friendship. He lacked character development in comparison to Rigby. Don't get me wrong, he clearly became a better friend to Rigby than he was in the first season, despite the fact that many people thought it wasn't enough. When rewatching the show, Rigby's horrible behavior is an easier pill to swallow because we know that he'll be redeemed later on. But, in turn, Mordecai's horrible behavior toward Rigby, which was dismissed when you first watched the show because Rigby was worse, now seems unforgivable while remembering Rigby's redemption later in the show. Also, many people began to dislike Mordecai as a result of the love triangle, particularly the episode in which he interrupted the wedding. And the simp memes also contributed significantly to Mordecai's dislike, because while everyone watched them for the laughs at first, we eventually realized that he was far more of a simp than everyone remembered him to be while watching the show. So Rigby's anger and actions are more understandable, as seen in episodes like the Death Punchies episode. He agreed to pay Punchies. He was sent to the hospital and became the one-cheek wonder, and they wouldn't stop making fun of him. And he was angry with Mordecai. He always plays Punchies to get his way, knowing that Rigby never wins. He literally kicked him in the balls, a total violation. So he responds by becoming the park's dictator, beating up random parkgoers, low-key enslaving his friends, and attempting to kill Mordecai. It's dramatic, but you have to see the bigger picture. In addition to Mordecai's unprovoked punches to Rigby, he constantly exhibits an air of superiority toward him, in both subtle and non-subtle ways. If that isn't bullying, it is certainly mean. Mordecai was like Zorak to Rigby, so he is just getting even with him, a general patronizing ass who only hangs out with him for his own benefit by retaliating. For the same reason that Zorak often hangs out with Brack, to take advantage of his gullibility or use him as a punching bag, Mordecai often hangs out with Rigby because of his inherent mental and physical weakness. Rigby finds it even more difficult to stand up for himself when he is the target of constant verbal and physical abuse, including but not limited to verbal abuse, insults, bullying, and physical torture at the hands of Mordecai, Skips, and Muscle Man. And I think if we are comparing, Muscle Man is much more cruel than Rigby. He is destructive, aggressive, disrespectful, obnoxious, has a foul odor, is constantly getting under other people's skin, pulls pranks on them, makes fun of them, and has assaulted them physically multiple times, nearly killing them on multiple occasions. He has smashed and thrown numerous objects, ruining lots of property. Muscle Man should be much more disliked than Rigby, who is seen as a jerk, poor friend, immature, petty, and immature. Yes, Rigby is quite immature and unmotivated, and he doesn't always think about the consequences. However, he usually doesn't want things to get worse. Muscle Man, on the other hand, will go to extreme lengths to get even with you, whether it's by physically assaulting you, playing practical jokes, or bullying you into doing something he doesn't like. Muscle Man is a hard worker, but he will bully and hurt you like he did to Thomas, Mordecai, and Rigby in the first seasons. Unless he's slacking off, Rigby is a lot better company. Rigby is just an insecure little raccoon in need of more affection. His parents always favored his brother, His best friend would always choose a girl over him, and his own girl was too good for him. He just needed someone to push him in the right direction. And thanks to Eileen and Benson's impact on Rigby's life, he changed for the better. It is undeniable that he has developed into a more admirable individual, having gone from being the self-centered slacker who frequently caused unintended problems and conflicts in the park. An example of perseverance is the fact that he was able to earn his high school diploma in spite of the challenges he faced, and that he assisted Benson when he was on the verge of being stranded in China if his class did not learn English. It was also important for him to make amends with his father, who showed favoritism toward Don than he did toward Rigby, due to the fact that Rigby had been unsuccessful in life, whereas Don had been successful. I guess it all comes down to the progression and development of Rigby's character. He begins as a childish and self-centered individual, but over time, and against all odds, he matures and cultivates a healthy relationship with others. It's safe to say that he was one of my favorite characters overall. Don't get confused. He had a rough ride along the way. This terrible dude in his 20s, who blames his best friend for everything, matures as the show progresses. He starts to take responsibility for his actions and starts to grow up. And in the end, he essentially becomes Mordecai's brother, being there for every breakup and helping him through everything else. So yes, he is a good person. The fact that he underwent such a significant transformation by the time the series came to a close is, without a doubt, what makes his character so satisfying. He matured into a responsible and loving husband and father. The regular show is anything but regular. These types of shows are extremely important. And I also did a similar video on Benson some time ago that had similar sentiments. As viewers mature, they realize that the characters they once identified with may not be the people they want to be anymore. Character analysis provides valuable introspection and serves as a good indicator of personal integrity. When I was younger, I thought Mordecai was the coolest. But now that I'm an adult, I realize I identify with Rigby then and Benson now. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Do you hate or love Rigby? Did you feel differently when you first watched the show? Don't forget to click the like button. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel and turn on post notification if you want more content. Thanks for watching.